Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Moxi Monday. It is both an honor and a privilege to get to be on with you guys today, our great agents of our company. Today, I'm going to talk about a subject that is very great for you guys because it is a combination of Engage and our website that helps you become a better agent while directing people to your website. So it utilizes Moxi and your website. Okay, so you guys are saying you can see me and hear me. Thank you so much. Please keep all questions coming in the chat section. I'm happy to review and go over anything that you guys have as I'm showing this to you. So I'm going to start with where I'm at. As you guys can see, I'm logged into Moxi and I'm in the My Account section. We're going to actually go to Moxi Engage, which is your CRM, your client relationship management tool. It's where your people are, your prospects and your clients, and it's where your campaigns and your goals are as well. So let's take a deeper dive really quick. I'm going to actually go straight into the top navigation bar. Please take your eyes to the top of my screen. You're going to click on Engage. What we're going to talk about today is important because it's very, it's a need for all real estate agents for people to have traffic driven to their website and to their systems, because there's so many commercials out there from, let's say, Zillow or Trulia, and that becomes the place of resource to a client when they're not familiar with all the different brands and companies. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of debunk that a little bit, but we're going to show them how they can get the information from you and how it can help you become a better realtor to support them in the meantime. So what you see is my homepage. This is just the Engage dashboard. We have separate trainings kind of breaking this down. What's amazing with Engage is as an overall, it actually tells you who to contact and when. So as an agent, you know that activity is imperative. If you just kind of go to bed at night waiting to see who's going to find you, you're going to have less activity and less deals and less transactions. If you're like me, you need to go to bed knowing that you've made action in that day that can inspire that transaction tomorrow. That way, you know you've got that action and movement. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to actually take our eyes to the top. And as you guys notice here are our dashboard options, our navigation panel. Dashboard, which is where it shows the overall activity of everybody all together. So if you have 800 people in here, it's going to give you the activity flow of what's happening that specific day for those people. What we're going to focus on today is right here, the People tab. I'm actually going to have you go into My People, which is where all of your people are located. This is inclusive of people that you know and have worked with, people that you know and haven't worked with, but it's also people that are prospects as well. We take you guys into here to enable marketing and to have a full sales flow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually jump into a real estate agent, one of our RSCs, Stephanie. She might be on this morning. I'm actually going to go into her profile because she is also a real estate agent. And I'm actually going to show you how she can work with me as a client directly and help service my need as of today. This is very imperative because our market is changing, but then also so is your client's mindset and need. Because as everybody knows, you want a $300,000 house, but you only want to pay $200,000 for it. So what a buyer goes into looking for, that very much can change when they start to see what they get for the dollar amount that they're looking for. And their search criteria changes, and we want to better support them in the way that they need. So let's take a look. Again, I'm going to go to People, My People, which is taking me into now Stephanie's clients. Her sphere, it could be a potential person she's never met before, so a lead. And we're going to go right in here. I put myself into her sphere, and we're going to work myself as a buyer. So what's happening is now I'm actually in my client's individual profile. So we are in the individual profile of Beth Glass. Now here is the most prominent thing. It's very easy to have too much communication back and forth. There's a way that we can have more seamless communication, and you can be on top of your buyer's needs without you constantly having to bug them and communicate with them every hour of the day. And there's a way they can tell us what they need now today versus yesterday without, again, having to communicate with us on an every hour basis. These people have families, they have jobs, they're running to soccer. We want to help be in the world they need to be in. So here's what we're going to do. Please take your eyes to the left side of my screen. It's not going to go over this stuff today. Everything you see on the right can be a different Moxi Monday. I think to get you guys using Engage and comfortable with it, I think I'm going to start breaking it down and doing one section at a time to help you guys get really comfortable with the value and the benefits of each portion. For now, we're going to look right here, activity and faves and saves. Now, the reason this is relevant is because you might not know this, but this connects directly to your website as well. So your two platforms are working together to best provide you the ability to be the best real estate agent. First and foremost, let's go ahead and just take a quick peek at the activity tab, just so you guys can see what this does for you as an agent. It shows all of the activity for her. So let's say I went in and worked on her profile. Let's pretend like I'm Stephanie and I worked on her profile and I went on vacation for a month, or not, sorry, a month, I wish, wouldn't that be great? A week. What I get to do when I come back, or even from vacation, I get to see all the activity that happened in general so that I'm not missing out. And if I have 10 clients at the same time, I don't have to worry with my mind being mismatched of what I did for who and for what. And I get to see what Beth's doing on her own without me. So as you can see here, the activity tab shows what I've sent to her. It shows in here that I created a search, which is how I'm going to show you in just a second. I sent it to her, but then it shows in here additional things. When she opened it, see how it says opened by Beth Glass? So I'm getting that seamless communication. And then if you continue to go down, it tells me everything in here that I've done with her. I've created a transaction loop for her. I sent her neighborhood news. She opened it up and it tells me when this happened as well. So I'm getting a good idea of what her true activity is and her intent. This is super relevant because when you're already with a buyer, you do know they want to buy a house, right? They're ready to buy. They've told you this verbally. So this next portion of what I'm going to do is help cater to their need of what they're looking for today. But I want you to also think of this in a prospect's mindset as well. Again, like I mentioned, I'm not the type where I can just go to bed and say, I hope somebody comes to me the next day. You know, I think about my kiddos and the food. So in my mind, I have to make action to have a reaction. So what I would be doing is technically I would be reaching out to people on social media or friends or family and saying, you know, would you be interested in getting any type of search property created for you to look at, even if you're not ready to move today, there's no obligation. Just would you like to check out what the houses in your area are going for? And I would create a search for them. And then I would send it to them and it would be through Moxi Engage, which is what I'm going to show you here. What's going to happen is you have people that are mindful of moving soon, so it helps them be connected to the market more. What it does for the people who aren't going to move today, it helps to trigger that thought process, because I particularly am one that had zero plans of moving, and I saw the house I liked and I decided to put an offer in it. I was the first person to put an offer in and I bought it. I had no intentions of moving. So the people out there that are just like that are more today than before, because people were hesitant. But for the right property, they'd be willing to move. So this is also sphere marketing. I want you to think of it in that way. It doesn't just have to be a campaign, you know, that has like a set campaign series to it. Doing a search for somebody and just an open-ended, no obligation search is a great way for you to market. So let's take a look at the left side. We're going to click on the Favs and Savs tab. The reason I like this is because I want to drive traffic to you, to your website, right? They're going to go to other places like Trulia and Zillow. But if you guys were listening to the song I played as you guys were joining in, it says, I don't care where you go as long as you always come back home. Isn't that the same concept? Like, you're going to go look at Trulia. You're going to look at Zillow. But let's bring them back home to you, to your website. Let's have them search on your site. The reason this is relevant is because when you do it through here, when you create a search through here, it's connecting them and taking them to your website, which increases your value to a search engine, which is Google, Bing, Yahoo, and all the different search engines. And it actually increases your value and the number of times you show up on a search result yield. So if people are searching for homes in Strongsville and you're somebody that has people going to your website in Strongsville, your value increases, which is called SEO, search engine optimization. And then you become more you show more and more search results when people are searching for that. Instead of, yes, MLS is great, right? You can get all the same information, you can do the same search, but it is not as user friendly, it is not intuitive, it is not interactive, and it does not increase the value of your website, and it doesn't drive people to your site. So let's take a quick look at this. I'm going to flip gears with you really quick. Right now we were in the agent mindset. So we're going to switch, take that hat off. We're going to go into the client mindset, right? So what they receive from the agent, and I'm going to show you how this directly connects to your site and comes right back full circle to help you service your your client at the highest level. Okay, let's flip over. You guys should be seeing my email. Can someone jump in that chat box really quick and just say, yes, I can see an email from Stephanie Martin, please and thank you. Yep, I'm getting lots of nods, good. Okay, so here's the client view of what they receive. This is simplistic for them. I don't care if they have tech knowledge or not. We make it so easy that there's only one thing to do. It's very simple, very clean, very clear. The contact information is in here already. So again, you can even see how this can become like a spear marketing campaign and you're not actually having to do the work for it. So if I come down in here, yeah, I can do a really quick preview of some of this, but here's the relevant portion. As a client, I'm coming in here and this is sending this to me. What this looks like is that Stephanie took her time today to do a new search for me and sent it to me. This is a resource builder and a rapport builder between the person and the agent. Stephanie did not have to do the search for me every day. I'm going to show you how she set it up, or I set it up in her profile one time, and it's doing the work for me to generate this to my client. So I'm going to click on view current listings. We're going to be exactly as if we were the client. So what it's going to do, you're going to see this if you've been in Moxi or your website previously, this is going to be familiar. The difference between giving them a search in the MLS, there's several, but one, first off, I want you to take your eyes to the top of the screen. Where am I? I'm in Stephanie's website. So I'm actually in Stephanie Martin's Coldwell Banker website, which means when I'm, of course, I clicked something I didn't mean to click. There we go, that's fine. I'm actually in her website itself. I'm going to do that again and get right back into the same page I was in, so sorry. But now I'm actually, it's called a hit on her website. So the search engines are recording that I'm now there. And the more that I click on each one of these, okay, so I'm going to watch what I do. I'm going to click on the property to view it because this is what my real estate agent, Stephanie, set up. So this was in my criteria of what I'm looking for. Now I've gone to a separate page within her site. So now I've got two things for search engine optimization. I'm now clicking and interacting with the site, which increases the value to a search engine host, or well, I should say the computer system that has analytics running to track this stuff. I'm, as a client, now able to do a full interaction with this property, inclusive of looking at the photos, which are better resolution, which is clear. All of the data from the property is in this website right here, so they don't have to go anywhere else. I'm still able to go in and see the virtual tour directly. Now the beauty is here. Look what's happening. If I'm sharing properties or checking out whether this is the buyer's end or the seller's end, I'm able to share this directly with the different platforms that I have to better promote whether it's the property. So imagine if this is your seller, right? They would want to promote their own property. You're helping them market for you by clicking on that button to share. And they want to do it because they want that reaction of people to see their house. As a buyer, they can still share it as well. And what are they doing? They're sharing your website. They're not sharing an MLS link. They're not sharing something that goes to Trulia or to Zillow. It's going to you. Also, look at the beauty here. Trulia and Zillow can take them to other realtors. That's a fact. We've got you first and foremost here. So again, I would consider this a classy drip campaign. You do not need to be, as an agent, someone who's in somebody's face all the time. That can be off-putting. but just providing them information that's a resource to them, and then casually and classily having your information here is a much better tactic to obtaining a lead into a client than if you're just going out there trying to make yourself look like the best person in the earth, right? It just doesn't go over well with a lot of buyers and sellers. They want to know that you're out for them and not just yourself. So as an agent, I've just sent this to my client through the computer system, but as a client, I'm now able to say, I really like this property. And here's the beauty. If you take your eyes to the middle of my screen, to the left of Stephanie's information, there is a favorite button. By clicking on the favorite button, it calls it a favorite, okay? So now it just put that in the system as a favorite. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna close it out. Just go back out of the property. And I want you to see what happened. Do you see this little heart? This made that be a favorited item. It did not have the heart before. So as a client, I'm saying, I like this property and this property and this property, and it's helping me narrow down what I like, filtering out and clearing the clutter. And then as an agent, you're gonna see in a second how it shows me what those properties are. So now I'm clearing the clutter and filtering down based off my not only my client's desires, but a very more pinpoint specific list of actual properties. So the great news is that, you can click on it and it's interactive, but from an overall standpoint, I can even just click on the heart from the front. So if I'm on this page, I can click right on there and I can heart that property, and I can literally tell my agent something in regards to it. This looks like one that I would like to tour. Okay, see that communication's happening. You don't have to constantly feel like you're bugging somebody on a daily basis. It takes that away, that feeling away, and it becomes a seamless communication of help. So they're able to communicate and comment with you easily. Now, here's the benefit to you as well. I want you to think of a market where someone wanted, what is our price point here? $499-ish. I want you to think of the buyer who wanted to buy a house for $450,000, but they wanted the amenities of a house that was like $550,000. That's not going to happen. Depends on your market and your area. But what starts to happen when clients are getting properties that are in their actual price point, and they start to see that the amenities aren't in there, maybe they need to upgrade on their own after they purchase it, it just starts to make them realize what the market is and what they can get. So what happens is their criteria of what they're searching for changes. So you often don't have a ending point of the transaction as you do starting off. I have a perfect example where my children's father, we were looking at a lot of properties with them, and he insisted, he said, duplex only, duplex only. So as a realtor, we went in and we did only duplexes. After looking at all the duplexes, he realized it didn't fit his actual need. He doesn't live in the real estate market like you guys do, so they don't know what's there. Once you take them into it, they start to change their mind. And guess what? He bought a single family house, didn't even buy a duplex at all. And I can't even tell you how many times he said, I refuse to buy a single family house. That's what he bought. That's what happens. That's the real world. So as a client, okay, you're in client view still, right? We're still on Stephanie's website, but it's still my profile as a client. I can come up here and I can still change my criteria because my thoughts and my plans have changed, or maybe I'm just curious. I told you 0 condos, but what if I'm curious now because I'm not finding the single family that I'm really loving? So if you look at the top, they have the ability to effectively change the price point of the search. They can also dictate how many beds and bathrooms. And here's the beauty. This filter option gives them all of the options to choose from. So if they said to you, literally no condos or townhouses before, so you had them not in your search, which would have made them not selected, your client can come in here and say, okay, I want to check out condos, I want to check out townhouses, and it lets them actively come in here and do a full search for a specific property. So they can filter it and hit apply. And what's wonderful is they can do that without even telling you. So if they decide to go to condos and they first told you no condos, you know this because in a second, I'm going to show you the agent standpoint side where it tells you this information. So I, as a client, am making the decision to start looking at a different type of property that I told you I didn't want to or wasn't interested in. And now as an agent, you're going to see that information. Instead of wasting time trying to get a hold of them, you're actively able to start searches now based on that new criteria. So you're effectively using both your time and their time. You're clearing the clutter and you're getting rid of the properties they're not going to really buy, and they're wasting your time and their time. On the right, they can also use the map feature. This is Google Maps, so it's live and interactive, just like you can. So if you see here that you click on this little draw button, if they wanted to be super specific and they picked click draw, just like you when you're setting it up, if they said, okay, I want to be, you know what, I decided after I saw the houses in North Royalton and Brecksville or whatever the cities might be or communities, they're going to say, I really decided that once I got into this community, this is where I want to be. And they can draw a little circle. And it's going to then narrow it out and give you just the listings in that particular sphere of location. So again, we're clearing the clutter. This is interactive and intuitive to help us learn the client's need today, because it is different than what it might have been last week. We're in a different market and world, so our searches need to cater to them on a changing basis. The same thing applies to school districts. What if they want to really narrow it down and be in a specific school district? They forgot to tell you, or they've changed the school district. They were not interested in going to Murphy Elementary School District before, but now they're open to it because they want to see what's there. They can click on the schools option and narrow it down by that as well. In addition, they can actually click on radius and do a certain amount of mileage from the location that they pinpoint here. So what's wonderful is that it saves all of this from the client standpoint. It actually takes work off your hands as a real estate agent. So who doesn't want a system that lets your client work with you instead of against you? So let's go ahead and say I made a new search and I clicked save search. I would be able to put a name for this search. So now I would be able to say, let's say I chose to make this a condo search. This could be the real estate agent or the client. And I can say, okay, this is now Strongsville condos. And then I get to, as the client, dictate how often I receive them. So they can receive it hourly. This is for the people who have already put multiple offers on multiple houses and they got snipped up right underneath their feet and they're itching to go. Their house is already sold. Maybe they want those hourly. Weekly would be a little bit more like everybody else. From a client standpoint, keep in mind that you have more dictation on the agent standpoint than this. But what I'm going to do for this situation is let's say weekly, and I'm going to hit save, and that's going to save the search. So as a real estate agent, you've just enabled them to empower themselves to really see the market, clear the clutter, and help you become a better agent to service their need. What we're going to do now is we're going to flip over to the agent side again. So this is back to Stephanie's portal. So her Moxi Engage system. Again, we went into people, my people, and then I opened up Beth's actual individual profile. At this point, I'm just refreshing my screen. Okay, so here's what's going to happen in a couple of minutes when it syncs together. I want you to see here that it has two saves. These are searches. That means I made this search for her because she wanted to look at houses in High Point. So that's a search that went to her. I made an additional search for her that went right here, and it was for Deerfield Lake, which is a different community. So from the training standpoint, she was looking at 2 communities only, no condos, whatever the situation might be. And then this is what I made. What's going to happen is it's then going to, when it syncs up here, it would be automatic if I used a different email than the one I just did. But the one I did is connected to my account I'm on, which means it doesn't show up right away for you in a training. But it will show that client's search. So you're going to get to see the search that they've made here to clue you in on their thought process today. In addition, the activity tab is going to tell you that they've created that search and then they've made it. So you're seeing that activity. It's directly carrying over to here. And then all of the houses that I just favorited are going to show up on this favorite tab. So as soon as I click on Favs, each one of those properties is going to show up. So as a realtor, I am now narrowing down the focus point of what I'm talking to my client about and ultimately scheduling showings for. Gone are the days when we're looking at 50 houses because possibly it might look better in person than the pictures. I think our current world environment changed that a little bit, but the system helps us to really narrow it down and make it a little bit better. But this is full circle now. So you can see they did it on her website, which drove traffic to her website and also the value as a resource point. But here's gonna be the quick thing that I need to show you. For Stephanie to make this for her, it only took a couple of seconds. So what we're gonna do to create the new search here is we're gonna come to the bottom right-hand corner. You should all see this blue button with the plus sign that says Saved Search. This is to create a new saved search for your client. So this is the clients received that they received that you're creating. I'm gonna click this button. And then it's gonna ask us just exactly what we just saw, right? But we're gonna then utilize this to narrow it down. We're gonna say either by address. So for as an example, we knew she wanted to be around a certain address. So we just plug that in. So you can pick that in there or an MLS number, whatever you want. But in reality, you can also make that a certain city. So if you wanted to take out the address and just make it Strongsville, you can do that. And then you're gonna come in here under price point and you're gonna then be very specific. So now if we wanna go down and she's had some hardship or whatever and wants to think about going to a lower price and then maybe rehabbing and remodeling with the extra money, we're gonna do a 350 to just for the heck of it. We're gonna put 400,000 in there because this is her range. And this is the same, it doesn't depend, matter what price point you're at. This could be for a $100,000 house, $70,000, it doesn't matter. This is all the same interaction. I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna say I want at least 2 bedrooms and at least 1 bathroom. And then we're gonna hit apply. And we're pretending this is the client's criteria that she's talked to me about. And then we're gonna do filters. We're gonna say we're not interested in a multifamily. We are not interested in farm and land or ranch, manufactured. We're pretty much just gonna look at these 3 areas. Square footage, she doesn't really care as much about, but here's where I would dictate specifics, right? If it is a deal breaker to not have a pool, then I'm gonna make sure I choose the right option here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit apply. Unless she tells me she wants to be on a certain end of town, then I would use the draw features. But I'm gonna hit apply. And now the only last thing that we do is the bottom right-hand corner of my screen. See where it says email and settings? We are almost done. We've done almost nothing and we're almost done, which is very cool. I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna choose a name for the search, and this is what shows up both to them and to you. So we're gonna say Strongsville, Ohio, and this time I'm gonna say 350 to 450, and this is just how we can start to have different searches. I want you guys to see we can be looking for different things and having different search portals all at the same time. There's an automatic message in here, but you can come in here and just remove that and type what you want or add to it. You can also dictate the duration as well. So for this one, I think we're gonna go ahead and say weekly. Once per day typically isn't for someone unless they are actively needing something right away and they're requesting that. The next option here, it says send no new listings email when there are none. This is relevant for you to make this choice because if there are no new listings that week, maybe you don't want to be sending nothing and just making your client think you're doing nothing, right? Sometimes silence makes people think nothing's happening, but in reality, something did happen behind the scenes. It just didn't yield new results for that week. So by choosing this option, it's going to send them an email and say, there are no new listings added to the MLS that week. So you're still doing your due diligence as a realtor and letting them know nothing new for that week. And then again, you can save to the area of interest for the buyer if you click on this down here. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit save and end. So again, all of this was a couple of clicks. It was pretty simple. And bada bam, in seconds, I have a search right here. And within seconds, if I were to go to my email at this point, that search is now going to be in here in a matter of, it could be 30 seconds, sometimes it's 10 minutes, but it's usually very, very quick. And it's gonna look just like this, where it's gonna say new listings. So it's very clear, and they're going to be able to open it up and click right into it in the exact same fashion you just watched me do 1 minute ago. And again, as you create that, okay, we did activity here. It's going to say we created the new search. And then when she gets it and opens it, it's going to say she received it and opened it. So we're really allowing ourselves to be empowered to be the highest level performance, kind of with the least amount of effort, so that we're not in here for long and we're taking our time to curate more leads and work more on the marketing for the potential clients that we have. Now, the last thing I want to cover real quick, because we're right at time, is in the event that you have a search that you've already created and you want to change it, you still have the ability to do that very quickly by choosing this edit pencil. So if I go ahead and click edit, I'm literally just going straight back into the search. I would be able to come in here, and she said, let's go ahead and click filters. Whatever she decided to change, where she said, now I don't want to see townhouses, I don't want to see condos, I could remove those. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit apply, going back down to email and settings. And I'm even able to say 350 to 450, and I can be even more clear here. So she knows when she clicks on these same links, because they're all interactive, she knows I've made the change. I can say just single family. See how that makes it work for you and them? And they know you're on top of it. You are your best realtor you can be. You're giving them what they need when they want it. So we're going to go ahead and hit the search update. Okay, I want you to see now, bam, my search now says just single family, and that's what it's going to show up for the client as well. So in a couple of minutes, I can create a search. I can allow it to go out for my client on a weekly basis, again, drip campaign. And again, think of also in the mindset of the people that I, as an agent, would have reached out to through social media, through email, through LinkedIn, grocery store. I don't care who you are. You are your own business. You should be asking everybody at this point. I would ask people even in the store, if you're interested, I can send you some properties in your area, no obligation. Don't have to check it out, but if you're ready to, go ahead and do so. Make it so it doesn't seem like they're going to type their information in. They don't have to do that. This just makes it easy for you, and you're generating leads, but also supporting your existing client. In the event that we don't want to have the search anymore, bam, click on the button, delete search. Super simple, super easy, intuitive, interactive, allows your system to work together to benefit yourself the most. So I'm going to finalize this with asking you guys to go to the chat box. First of all, do you have any questions? Type no if you guys do not, so I know that you guys are good to go. And the second question I have for you is, what do you think of this? Do you love this? And will you start using this now that you see the connection that you might not have seen before? Okay, so we got a lot of no questions. Good. No. Hopefully that means I did it pretty thoroughly. If you guys do have questions, I want you to reach out to your training team, to your ASCs, to your RSCs. My email is elizabeth.glass@cvschmidtohio.com, so we're always happy to help on the site as well. But again, if you guys can jump to that chat bar while I end the session, let me know what you think of this portion, Favs and Saves and activity. And the second portion is, will you start using it now that you see the capability of what it's going to do for you and your business? If you guys can go ahead and take to that, I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to do that. As you guys are typing your feedback, I'm going to just do a very quick fly through of how I got to where I am. Again, when we log into Moxi, it should take you to your My Account section, but it might not always take you there. If an example, you were in your websites last, it might log you into your websites page. So the easy way to navigate where I got today is just to go straight to Engage. So even though we're working in your website, you didn't click on the website button. That's the caveat there. You're going to go to Engage. It does it for you. When it loads, you're going to go to People, My People, which is going to take you in. And by the way, all that cool connection that I just showed you individually for that client or on the dashboard, it shows up here on the activity feed as well for overall. So it does show up if you have 10 transactions at the same time. It gives you an overall of all the cool stuff that happened in the last day or two, whether they opened up a Moxi campaign, whether they changed it. So you get a glimpse of it on the home screen before you even get into your profile. but we're going to go to My People and go directly into the client file itself, where we got to see all that cool activity and interaction happen by clicking on the client's name itself. From there, we utilize the Activity and Favs and Saves tab. Good. Okay, great. So we're getting some private messages coming in, but I am seeing great, awesome feedback for this as well. So it just says this is a great opportunity for our agents, allows our new clients to see it is so easy. That is true. And guess what? Because you have the same view as them, when you're educating them on how to use it, it doesn't make you have any stress or pressure because you see what they see. So as I said, even if you want to be on the phone with them, Zoom call, or just text them, or whatever the situation, or sitting next to them because you're doing it live, you can just say very easily, yep, go ahead and click on the left-hand side, or click on the heart, and it tells me what you would like, and it helps me communicate with you better. So on that note, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's session. We'll continue to break down each part of Moxi to help really make it so that you can utilize it for your business at a high level. Please reach out to our training team. And as always, this is being recorded. You will find this in the Schmidt video classroom.